Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this explainer. Today we're diving into a story of just absolute courage, unbreakable willpower, and the ultimate sacrifice. When a nation faces a massive, catastrophic terror crisis, and literally all conventional options are exhausted, India looks to its absolute final, most formidable hope. We're talking about the National Security Guard, or the NSG. You probably know them better as the Black Cat Commandos. So today, we're going to uncover exactly how this zero-error contingency force is actually forged and trace the completely grueling, terrifying journey that a regular soldier has to survive to become an elite black cat. Let's get right into it. Now, what you're seeing here is no ordinary piece of furniture. This is a bullet-riddled sofa, salvaged directly from the Taj Hotel during the devastating 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. Today, it sits quietly inside the NSG headquarters. When Major Prasenjit Tamar, who is actually a mechanical engineer turned soldier, begins his very first day of training, he has to stand in absolute silence right in front of this sofa. It's a living, breathing reminder of horrific events and ultimate sacrifices. This is exactly where the true life-or-death stakes of joining this elite force are permanently cemented into the mind of a new recruit.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the immense emotional weight these new recruits are handed right from day one. Their commanding officer looks them dead in the eye and tells them, the place you are sitting in is called the cradle of sacrifice. You are guarding a legacy. I mean, wow. Every single soldier is made to realize, right then and there, that they aren't just taking on a job. No, they are carrying the legacy, the blood, and the literal sacrifices of the heroes who gave their lives for the nation directly on their own shoulders. But here's the thing. Becoming the protector of that legacy, it is incredibly difficult. To put it in perspective, every single year, about 800 highly experienced, battle-hardened men from the police, army, and paramilitary forces apply. They show up hoping to pass one of the toughest commando courses on the planet. But astonishingly, a massive 50% of them, literally more than half, are brutally filtered out in just the first week of screening. And for the select few who actually survive that initial cut, well, the real nightmare has just begun. Okay, let's dive into this timeline to see exactly how long and exhausting this roadmap really is. To earn that coveted black uniform, these guys face a notoriously cruel schedule. First up is that brutal one-week screening we just talked about. Those who somehow make it through that are then pushed right into a 12-week commando conversion course. And this course is designed specifically to shatter their physical and mental limits. Finally, there's a 6-week unit induction. It's only after surviving this entire grueling gauntlet that a soldier earns the right to call himself a black cat.
So how is this elite group actually organized? Well, the structure of the NSG is highly specialized, and it rests mainly on 3 pillars. First, you have the counter-terror force, which handles high-stakes hijackings and terror threats. Second is the close protection force, and these guys are often called bullet catchers because they literally step into the line of fire to protect VIPs. And third is the bomb detection and disposal squad. Now, the main focus of our story today, Major Tamar, he was selected for the premier counter-terror unit. This division is so elite, it's actually been decorated with 3 Asok Chakras, which is India's absolute highest peacetime military decoration for valor. Within that counter-terror unit, you have what's called the intervention team. This is a highly synchronized 6-member squad that operates like an absolutely well-oiled machine. Each commando is carrying over 20 kilograms, that's roughly 44 pounds of heavy protective gear and weaponry. One guy might be a sniper, another a demolition expert or a trauma medic. And during their early training, they are thrown into horrific situations. We're talking tear gas canisters being cracked open right beside them. Their eyes are burning, their skin feels like it's literally on fire. But through all that agonizing pain, they must never, ever break formation. Now, we've talked a lot about the human commandos, but let's shift focus for a second to the NSG's 4-legged warriors, because there is a massive difference between a standard working dog and an elite NSG canine. The NSG uses Belgian Malinois dogs, like this absolute legend named Drona. In the heat of action, Drona is often the very first commando to leap into danger. It's wild. The absolute trust and partnership between the human handlers and these dogs is absolutely critical to the success of any Black Ops mission. And get this, the K9 squad utilizes some absolutely astonishing technology that turns them into a highly tactical strike force. The dogs are actually fitted with specialized goggles that beam a live, high-definition video feed directly back to their handler. So the handler sees exactly what the dog is seeing in real time. On top of that, an earpiece is placed in the dog's ear, allowing the handler to whisper tactical commands from up to a full kilometer away. It's this cutting-edge integration that makes these canines such a stealthy, incredibly dangerous asset. But the high-tech gear definitely doesn't stop with the canines. The NSG outfits its operators with state-of-the-art equipment, like the Drone Killer Weapon System. Now, to neutralize airborne threats, this system doesn't fire your standard conventional bullets. Instead, it blasts invisible radio waves that instantly jam and disable uncrewed aerial vehicles, literally knocking them right out of the sky. It's a stark reminder that while the core of this force is raw, unfiltered human grit, their capabilities are backed by some of the best military technology on the planet. All right, moving beyond the tech and the weapons, we have to go back to the extreme limits of the human body, because the true climax of their training is this relentless 48-hour physical and mental stress test. And guys, this isn't just a tough workout. It is a meticulously designed gauntlet, specifically meant to completely break the human spirit. For 2 consecutive days and nights, nonstop, totally devoid of sleep, these recruits are pushed through pure, unadulterated agony. Through Major Tomar's first-hand accounts, we actually know exactly what those 48 hours feel like. Just imagine flipping heavy, massive tires for 800 meters in blistering 40 degrees Celsius heat, having already been awake for over a day. Your body is entirely depleted. The trainers purposefully allow them just 5 minutes of sleep at a time, just to maximize their psychological torment. Tomar recalled that in his most exhausted moments, he was missing his family, his sister's newborn baby, even his motorcycle. But in that crucible, they simply cannot afford a single moment of distraction. Then, right in the middle of this profound exhaustion, comes the sniper test. Trainers will force the recruits to drop down and hammer out 30 knuckle push-ups right before they pull the trigger. So their lungs are burning, they're gasping for air, their arms are shaking violently, and in that exact state, they have to hit a target 400 meters away with absolute zero-error precision. Because remember, the NSG is a zero-error force. In a real combat zone, there might be a hostage standing right behind that target. Missing simply isn't an option. As this induction phase enters its final weeks, the training somehow becomes even more ruthless. They call this obstacle the toll tax. In the suffocating, thick humidity of June, recruits are forced to scale a massive 120-foot natural rock wall. But climbing isn't enough, right? Mid-climb, literally hanging off the sheer cliff face, trainers order them to pump out up to 200 push-ups. The whole goal here is to see what happens when the body gives out entirely, to see if a recruit's mind can force their muscles to keep going when physical failure seems completely inevitable. And this brilliantly illustrates what comes next, the ultimate terrifying obstacle known as the Holy Chamber. Picture a tiny, claustrophobic, pitch-black room completely filled with thick smoke. Recruits have to take a deep breath, hold it, and just plunge into the darkness. Somewhere hidden inside is a box containing a key and a map to their next objective. This isn't just a physical test anymore. It is the ultimate trial of keeping your mind calm and focused in the middle of pure, suffocating chaos. Just how horrifying is the inside of that chamber? Major Tomar's own words capture it perfectly. My throat was completely blocked, no air was going in. I was tearing the ground with my nails. Just imagine that suffocating panic for a second. Despite the desperate need to breathe and the overwhelming human urge to just flee, they cannot leave until they find that box. It is in this exact agonizing moment that a regular human being is separated from an invincible commando. But after all that torture, the sweat, and the unbreakable resolve, comes the moment every single recruit dreams of. Major Tomar and his team didn't just survive the course, they actually won the Best Intervention Team Award. Finally, they are awarded the Black Cat insignia, the Balidan badge. And get this badge isn't just politely handed over with a handshake. It is violently pounded directly into their chests with a forceful punch by their instructors. That strike, right there, marks the true birth of a Black Cat commando. Following the ceremony, these newly minted commandos are brought right back to where it all began, the cradle of sacrifice. There, standing before that bullet-riddled sofa, they are reminded of heroes like Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan, who made the ultimate sacrifice in the Palm Lounge of the Taj Hotel. These men are no longer ordinary soldiers. They are now the official custodians of a magnificent legacy, one written in the blood of those who came before them. As we wrap up, this story leaves us with a really profound question. While we sleep comfortably, someone out there is pushing past the absolute limits of human endurance to act as our zero-error shield. So, do you have the sheer unyielding willpower to risk absolutely everything and guard this legacy? It's a reality that commands absolute respect. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and we'll see you next time as we dive into another incredible story.